Knock, knock. Who's there? Doctor. Doctor Who. Yes, Doctor Who. Nice to meet you. Jokes and silliness. Hello and welcome back again to another English podcast with Paul. I'm your host, Paul, and as always, natural, native English conversation, unedited and unscripted, though I do have some notes you may see me reading. Okay, so we're talking today about squeaky chair, sorry. Talking about laughter. Laughter is no joke. So I've got some research here, and we'll just run through it quickly before we move on. Short-term benefits. Enhances your intake of oxygen-rich air. Stimulates heart, lungs, and muscles. Increases the endorphins released by the brain. 2. Activates your stress response. Can increase and decrease heart rate and blood pressure. 3. Stimulates circulation and aid muscle relaxation. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, long term. 1. Improve your immune system. Negative thoughts can manifest into chemical reactions that can bring more stress to your body and decreasing your immunity. But positive thought can release neuropeptides that help fight stress and potentially more serious illnesses. 2. Relieve pain, causing the body to produce its own natural painkiller. 3. Increased personal satisfaction. Satisfaction. We'll go for satisfaction. Laughter can make it easy to cope with more difficult situations. Also helps connect people. 4. Improved mood and self-confidence. Wow. That's pretty amazing. All that just from laughter. Oh, no, I'm not joking. Seriously. All that just from laughter. So, why? Well, actually, what I remember is a film with Robin Williams called Patch Adams. And I think this is based on a true story where a famous doctor learns that the power of laughter can really help and go alongside medicine, especially for children, because it's unfair the amount of stress, the levels that children go through when they're in hospital, facing some painful and very bad, unfamiliar situations and very bad situations. Bringing laughter into a hospital can really elevate so many people. I don't think there's any downsides to laughing, especially in a hospital. You might say that there's also the etiquette of being, I don't know, gloomy or down or depressed when other people are feeling down and sad, much like it's not good to laugh at a funeral. Although many people say that we grieve in different ways. And so you might find that you're laughing at a funeral. My brother, in fact, I remember at his wedding, his first wedding, well, he's only had one wedding, but a long time ago, was very, very nervous and so was very giggly. And I thought he's either going to faint or he's going to seem like an idiot laughing at something very normal. So laughter is a really good medicine, not just for hospitals, but for dealing with other situations. And one of my, I'm not going to say heroes, but somebody I admire, Russell Brand, often delivers serious debates and conversation, and then often drops in something quite funny or silly to break the ice and change up, to stop any animosity building in the air. That we are connecting as human beings, and primarily we have to learn to laugh at ourselves. If you don't laugh at yourself, then we end up crying, they say. So laughing at yourself, laughing and having fun in amongst serious situations can sometimes really change the mood and help everybody. Okay, interesting statistics though, how laughing can really help your body in a positive way. Not just because of those peptides and pain releasing, but lifting your self-confidence and things like that. So laughter really is a great medicine. Right, what else have I written here? You can learn and improve your sense of humor. Yeah, I understand that some comedians do a lot of research and a lot of practice. They do like soft gigs, maybe like cheaper gigs, where they try out new material to find out whether it's funny enough or not to go in their main show. So that's something you can learn and improve and get better at. And there's lots of YouTube videos about it. The main thing about humor and comedy is setting up a normal storyline of expectation and then flipping it at the last minute. So like, oh, I went the other day and walked into a bar, and then I said, ow, that really hurts. I should have stopped sooner. Which sounds a bit confusing, but walked into the bar, meaning like hit themselves. So is a flip on its side from going to the bar. Yeah, is rubbish. I know. Okay, so learning it, that's interesting. Wouldn't we all want to learn comedy and how to be funny? Right. The Mayo Clinic, very, very famous clinic in America, said 5 ways to bring play into your life. A happy brain is a productive brain. Wow. Wow. Maybe the people at Google heard about that. Also, I was going to talk about the psychology of clowns. Do you know about clowns and harlequins and jesters? We've already said comedians and circuses. So often you'll see a clown at a circus and they mimic and mirror silly, childish behaviors. Hence why they wear, extra big shoes and silly big trousers. And now there's a lot of history about the makeup of clowns. Some say it was to maximize and elevate their facial expressions. There's also a very famous sad clown. Pierre, I think his name was Pierre something, a very sad clown. And I think from there you also have mimes that are not so funny. Although mime artists are very, very good at what they do. I don't have a lot of love for mime artists, but I do know their craft and skill is very difficult and takes years of practice. Okay, so there's a lot of films out there. There's Gesundheit Institute for Clowns and Clown Vets, A Clown in Cabal, The Real Patch Adams. Yeah, Clown Vets. So I think that's like vets as in veterans of war and the military. So clown veterans. I think the film, I've not seen the film, but it looks like it's based on the charity that have been, I think it's a real charity that is helping veterinarian, I can't say the word, people that have come out of war deal with like post-traumatic stress syndrome and other negative and bad feelings to cope, and using laughter to help. And one of the main important things they say for vets that come out of the army and come out of the military is to have a goal and a vision, often a legacy or some way of helping other people is often the way for somebody like that to come back into society and regain some self-confidence and self-belief by helping others and having a goal and driving towards it. All right. So the psychology of clowns, constantly. There's hundreds of videos on YouTube of even just cat videos. We really like to laugh. As a nation in the West, we really like to laugh. And I know it also in Asia, they have a different sense of humor. And I've been in this cinema when a lot of the locals have been laughing and I thought, that's not funny. And then I've laughed at something in the film and they've not laughed. And it's like, wow, it's really interesting how we have a completely different sense of humor. I don't want to be derogatory, but sometimes it feels like in Japan and other Asian cultures that slapstick and pain and that kind of humor is very prevalent there, where often more in the West, it's sort of grown and changed a little bit more into more articulate and dark humor. So there's kind of like two ways: dark humor, satire humor, which is what my wife likes, very dry satire humor, which often goes over my head. And then there's very dark humor, which can be a bit morbid or something like that. Then there's satire humor, which is very dry, and then there's kind of slapstick and silly humor, and that's more my style. I'm very much childish in nature, but that's kind of three ways that we go in the UK. But I must say that, like Russell Brand, all these serious subjects throughout life is really, really hard to get through. Life can be really cruel and really bad and sad and hard. And sometimes we don't want that for our children. We don't want to spread that negative, dark disease of negativeness. And I think sometimes the news on the TV is terrible for it. So injecting happiness and funniness and silliness into everyday life and conversation really is the way to connect with people and make people happy. They say that when you meet people and later on, all you remember is the way they made you feel. You don't remember what they talked about. You don't remember the interesting or important parts. You remember the way they made you feel. And so that's the way I feel when I'm meeting somebody new, or I'm engaging in a new community or with new people. I want to try and make people feel, or allow people to feel free to laugh and joke. And often I'll laugh and joke at myself first. I often, with my own students, will mimic and tease my students, because we are human, and meeting somebody new on a screen and trying to learn this language, which is difficult as it is, without laughing and joking, is a real tall order. It's really difficult. So I'm kind of grateful sometimes for the likes of Google and some other silicon startups where creativity is promoted, and connection and relationships are really promoted, and these open spaces for collaboration and fun. You know, you've got Google with all these colors. You might see their head offices and things like that on the TV, on the news, and you'll see the bright colors inside the offices as well, these open spaces, places to have a nap, and all this collaboration and connection. You know, even with these TED Talks, that they often have that kind of thing in those forward-thinking companies. So instead of thinking of people as just numbers and just bums on a seat to do a job, just do your job, don't talk, don't do. And I've been in factories, you know, in not so many years, where they said, no, you're not allowed to talk, you can't do this, you can't do that, you've got to do, you know, just focus on your work and work hard. And I was like, wow, that's really horrible. I've been in factories when I was a young man where we'd have a crazy laugh. We'd be messing around, and all right, sometimes there would be a little bit of over the top and maybe a little bit of loss of time in production and productivity. But actually, people that were happy and fun and engaged worked longer and harder than those that are negative and depressed and sad. So this factory I worked at, just to tell you, was, I'll name it, it was called Devon Desserts. And as the name suggests, we made desserts. Often it would be trifles. So we'd have these big things called bogies. This is a bogey as well, out your nose. But we'd have these big metal containers on wheels. And it was like for easy cleaning, these big stainless steel. And sometimes the cream or the custard or whatever, or the jelly, that's the three main things, cream, custard and jelly, that we'd make in these trifles. often something would be contaminated or something wouldn't work out properly. It'd be too hot or too cold and it would get rejected. And then often in the wet room, because mostly the whole floor was tiled and clean and hygienic, you could spray water around most places for easy wipe down. That's the way the factory was designed. So often on somebody's birthday, if there was a load of jelly that was like contaminated or gone off, somebody would get chucked in the jelly on their birthday. You'd be wearing overalls, you know, work overalls, these clean white overalls that the factory washed and cleaned. And so on somebody's birthday would get chucked in there. Or at the end of a shift, somebody might get the hose pipe out and people would get wet. Or sometimes you might eat a little bit of custard, you know, hiding. And so there was always a lot of silliness and fun and games. And then be like, right, we need to focus now. We need to get these numbers out. Let's crack on. Let's get it done. So as well as getting the work done and being happy and productive and a cohesive team, you know, we had a lot of fun. And there was more fun. Maybe it's just my rose-tinted glasses. Thinking about all the positive and happy times where we messed around and did silly things. Maybe it's just my memories. But I remember a lot of happy, good times in that factory. I think I was probably only there for a few years, but it was a great time of my life when I look back at it. So where is the fun gone now in the workplace? There's so much health and safety and political correctness. It's really hard to have fun. It's really, really hard to mess about without being concerned about being sacked and fired for having fun and messing around. It seems a real shame that that's just been taken away. Horseplay is often in a contract, your work contract. No horseplay. You can't do this, you can't do that. Otherwise you could face disciplinary action. Even the language is pretty intimidating. So yeah, going to work used to be fun. Is it coming back with Google and Silicon Valley and collaborations? You know, is there a place for laughter in the workplace? What do you think? Do you have fun at work? Isn't that like one of the key aspects of going somewhere every day for years and years and years? And it's supposed to be enjoyable? Aren't you supposed to enjoy it? If you don't enjoy your work, why would you do it? You would find something else that you do enjoy. And I don't just mean from an internal feeling of joy that you're making something or building something, you know, of achievement, but actually enjoy being with those people, you know, with a similar mindset to those people, that you're going to have some fun, a laugh and a joke, a bit more relaxed, and a place where you can share and feel human. You know, sometimes we've got these heavy loads on our shoulders of the emotions of everyday life, you know, of this baggage we carry. And so when you go to work, is it not human to be able to have a laugh and a joke and forget some of your worries? Just be part of the human race again and feel alive. Having fun, being alive. And a giggle and a joke and comedy, silliness. Oh, it is so missing in the workplace. Now, like I said, sometimes it gets me in trouble because often I'm met with a person that's stuck at a till and they're like, hello, nice to see you. And I can't help myself but try and have fun with that person. I look at their name tag, I say their name, I connect with them as a human being, you know, and I say, oh, you're going out the weekend, you're going to have some fun, what are you going to do? Dancing? Come on, what's happening? And I just can't stop myself but engage in conversation about what this person's going to do with their weekend or even with their life. You know, if they're a young person, I'm like, have you been off traveling? Have you been here? Have you been there? You've been to Amsterdam? You know, I sometimes can't help myself but want to engage in having fun or teasing. Teasing is the best, especially when somebody is stuck at a till. All right, my wife says, oh, they've heard it all before. Oh, they don't want to put up with you. But it makes me happy. And if I can make them smile, then I will do silly things just to break up somebody's day, monotonous and dreariness of doing the same thing again and again and again. So if I can make a smile on that face, then, I feel like I've done my part. So tell me in the comments, do you make an effort to make people laugh and joke? Do you make an effort with children that you see to smile? Let me know. Is it normal in your culture to be serious and firm and stern? Because you got to keep a stiff upper lip. The British people sometimes are quite stuck up in not wanting to laugh and smile and joke. And they want to kind of just have this attitude, this stoic attitude of being focused and not being silly and messing around and getting on with things and being productive. And sometimes this stoic attitude from years gone by and from aristocracy of, cutting out that silly frivolousness of being stupid and less productive is really frowned upon. And so I put a call out to you. I ask you now, please comment below. Tell me what you do for fun. Do you connect with people? Do you make children laugh and giggle and tickle and be silly? I want to know. I really want to know. Let me know in the comments. What is your favorite joke? Who do you like to tease and play? Do you have a laugh at work? I want to know. Let me know in the comments. All right, that's it for today. And as always, have fun learning English. Otherwise, you're not going to learn. Take care. See you in the next video and bye-bye for now.